Most gardeners quit composting for one reason. They were told it had to be complicated. Ratios, bins, turning schedules, thermometers, bad smells, and endless rules. But compost was never meant to be hard. Long before bins and labels existed, people built fertile soil using piles so simple they almost felt lazy. And those piles work better than most modern systems. This is the easiest composting method you'll ever use, and once you understand it, you'll realize compost has been overcomplicated on purpose. This approach strips everything back to what actually matters and delivers dark, rich compost without stress, tools, or constant attention. Compost piles work because they breathe. Bins trap moisture, restrict airflow, and make beginners think composting is a closed system. You know, nature doesn't work in containers. It works in layers, in contact with soil, and through a constant exchange with microbes, worms, and fungi. A simple pile placed directly on the ground, well, it allows beneficial organisms to enter from below. Earthworms move upward, and microbes migrate freely. Excess water drains naturally instead of turning the pile sour. Heat builds when it needs to and escapes when it should. This is why compost piles break down faster with less effort. You don't need special ingredients. Compost succeeds when you balance two forces: nitrogen-rich materials that break down fast and carbon-rich materials that provide structure. Kitchen scraps, fresh weeds, green leaves, grass clippings, and coffee grounds provide nitrogen. Dry leaves, cardboard, shredded paper, straw, and small twigs provide carbon. The pile doesn't need perfection. It needs volume and balance. If you can grab it with one hand and it feels wet, it's likely nitrogen. If it feels dry and crumbles, it's carbon. Trust texture more than theory. Start directly on bare soil. Never place compost on concrete or plastic. The ground is part of the system. All right, so you'll want to begin with a loose base of carbon, about 10 centimeters thick. This creates airflow from the bottom, which is really important. Then, on top of that, add a layer of nitrogen materials, about 5 to 8 centimeters thick. Now, just continue alternating those layers and make sure you end with carbon on top. This helps control moisture and, keeps odour in check. The ideal pile size is about 1 metre wide and 1 metre tall. You see, smaller piles don't heat well, while bigger piles, well, they tend to hold heat too long and slow down. This size, really hits the sweet spot where biology works for you. Moisture activates decomposition. If your compost is dry, it just stalls. But if it's too wet, well, it simply rots. After building the pile, you should water it thoroughly. Use about 10 to 15 litres of water for a fresh pile of 1 cubic metre. The goal here is moisture, much like a wrung-out sponge. Water should soak through, but you really don't want it to pool at the bottom. After that, well, rain usually handles the rest. But in dry climates, you should add about 5 litres once a week if the pile looks dusty or inactive. Turning does speed up compost, but it's not mandatory. After all, nature composts without pitchforks. If you want compost fast, turning once every 2 weeks helps. If you want compost with almost no effort, don't turn at all. A static pile will still finish in 3 to 5 months, depending on temperature and materials. Turning simply makes it finish faster, not better. For beginners, less interference often produces better results. Heat is a sign of microbial activity, not success by itself. A pile that warms up is alive. And, a pile that stays cool but shrinks steadily is also alive. If your pile heats up within 3 days, well, you've nailed the balance. But if it doesn't, just add more nitrogen and water lightly. Avoid chasing extreme heat. Compost doesn't need to steam to be effective, honestly. Too much nitrogen causes quite a smell, while too much carbon leads to stagnation. But honestly, the biggest mistake is constantly restarting. Every time you disturb a pile too early, well, you end up resetting the microbial community. Compost works best when left alone long enough to complete its cycle. Once built, resist the urge to fix what isn't broken. Let biology work. Finished compost looks dark, crumbly, and smells like forest soil. At this stage, the individual ingredients are, well, no longer recognizable. The pile has now shrunk to about half its original size. If it still smells sharp or, looks a bit fibrous, just give it a little more time. Compost rewards patience more than effort. Spread finished compost 2 to 3 centimeters thick over garden beds. Don't dig it in. Let rain, worms and roots pull nutrients downward naturally. For containers, mix compost with soil at a ratio of 1 part compost to 3 parts soil. This feeds plants without overwhelming them. Compost is not fertilizer. It's a soil builder. When soil improves, plants feed themselves. This system works because it mimics natural decay. It allows air, moisture, microbes, and time to interact without restriction. There's nothing to break, clog, or maintain. Once you experience just how simple composting can be, you'll never go back to bins, gadgets, or complicated formulas. Nature's blueprint exists, to reconnect gardeners with systems that actually work. This compost method has fed soil for generations, and I assure you it will keep working long after trends have faded away. If this guide has helped simplify composting for you, then do subscribe to Nature's Blueprint. Share this with someone who might be struggling to compost and start building better soil the natural way.